All right, so I do want to give everyone notice who is popping in. We are going to record this. So if you aren't comfortable with that or whatever, and you want to you know, turn your video off or whatever, feel free to do that. We just want to make sure that we have record of the meeting for anyone who couldn't join us, that we could share the information. I also just want to let you know, if you wouldn't mind turning off your microphone, we will hopefully have time for questions at the end, and you can absolutely ask questions then, or you can use the chat box in the meantime. But just to make sure that we don't have multiple people trying to talk over each other during the actual session, just mute your mics. All right, and actually do we have Randy? Yes, there's Randy. All right, perfect. All right, then I'll go ahead and get started. My name is Natalie Taylor. I am the LIS Program Director for the School of Information, and will be moderating today's event, doing most of the talking, but I have several important guests here. So this is our first State of the Program, official one. We've had unofficial things in the past, but we're trying a new format this year, the new virtual worlds that we live in. So we really appreciate you all joining us, and hopefully you'll find the information that we're sharing useful. I'm going to go ahead and click on the slide, talk about the presentation outline. So I will do I've already introduced myself, but I can talk a little bit about my time here at USF, and then we're going to have a little bit of an introduction from our new SI director, Dr. Randy Borum. We will get to what I think is probably the most important part of tonight's talk, with the awards presentation. We have so many wonderful awardees that I am really thrilled to introduce to you all, or reintroduce you to if you already know them. I'm sure many of you do. I'll talk a little bit about the state of the program in terms of the systematic planning we've been doing, our curriculum, faculty. Peter Cannon, our marketing and communications officer, will give us an update on that area of where we're at. And then I'll talk briefly about our student profile and have a very special guest from our student organization come in and give an update on that. I'll end and wrap up just by giving a peek at some of the future plans and initiatives we're doing. And like I said, hopefully we will have time for questions and feedback at the end. So jump right in. Like I said, my name is Natalie Taylor. I've been here, I think this is my 6th year now. I'm an associate professor. I teach things like information literacy, youth information access. I teach our collections development course, and do research in all of those areas as well. And, again, I've been the program director, the LIS program director, for about 1.5 years now. So still getting the footing, but I have a wonderful group of people who our faculty and staff are wonderful here, and you will see their footprints all over all of the things that I'm telling you about. It is definitely a team effort here. I'm definitely just representing them. But with that said, I would love to turn things over to Dr. Borum and let him give a brief introduction from his point of view.
Thanks, Natalie. And first of all, thanks to all of you who have logged in tonight. I'm just going to take just a quick minute to introduce myself. All the good stuff is going to come later from Natalie. And this is a great time, I think, for us to be reviewing the state of the LIS program. Our 50-year-old flagship program is really thriving, and I think you will be really pleased with hearing the status of things and the direction in which Natalie is helping to lead us. As she mentioned, I'm the new director. Most of you know very well the prior director, Dr. Jim Andrews, who was the School of Information director for 12 years. So God bless him. He deserves a break. He's on professional development leave this year. And but the great news is he has agreed to stay on as the associate director. I was his associate director for the past 5 or 6 years. He's now going to be returning to the faculty, but has agreed to continue in the associate director role. So he will maintain his connection to the leadership of the school, and I'm very grateful for that and for his guidance and participation. He was at the helm of the school during a very critical period, I think, and over this past 12 years, helped this school evolve from a department with just one degree program to a fully functioning School of Information that now has 3 graduate degree programs, 3 graduate certificate programs, a growing and really vibrant undergraduate program of BS and information science with concentrations that map onto high demand and high paying career fields. And we have an interdisciplinary intelligence studies minor as well. All of those things are fairly new developments, and I mean that over the past 5 or 6 years, and happened under Dr. Andrews' leadership. Also boosted our research profile, bringing in over $1 million in external funding over the time that he was there, and it was during that time that we also were able to get official iSchool members associate membership, but get connected to the iSchools organization more formally. So this was it was an important time, and some incredible advances I think were made under Dr. Andrews' leadership. He has pointed us in the right direction, and I am hoping to just continue to steer the ship and to move us forward. The past couple of years, we have, as no surprise to anybody who reads the papers, have been struggling along with the rest of the university mired in budget woes. And the good news is, I think we're starting to see some light at the end of the tunnel. And one of the really positive indicators of that is that we were just given permission by the College of Arts and Sciences this year to look for 2 new faculty lines. One is a full-time instructor position, and the other is a full-time tenure track position at the assistant professor level. Some of you may know from retirements and people moving to other positions, we're down at least 2 full-time faculty in the LIS program. And when I took over as director, one of the priorities that I had said explicitly to the dean was we need to prioritize trying to get those faculty vacancies replenished and continue to support the LIS program. He agreed in principle, and so we are holding him to that agreement, and looking forward to this not being the last of our hires over the next couple of years. But if you, I'm not going to take up time here because this is LIS focused. But if any of the information about all the new degree programs and certificate programs was news to you, please take a look at the site, look through them. Most of the areas where we've been expanding are in intelligence studies and in cybersecurity intelligence. And so these are some areas that we've actually done some sort of innovative curriculum development, developing STEM-based programs. And if you're wondering what the tie-in is here, the whole point of developing these intelligence studies programs, I came to the School of Information in 2012, but I've been at USF over 20 years. I had a vision that Dr. Andrews quickly sort of resonated with. Some of you may know that in a prior life, he was an intelligence analyst specialist in the Navy. So he's a veteran, but immediately connected to the idea that intelligence analysts are information professionals. And so we wanted to try to create a program that was grounded in information science, that was kind of methods driven and also STEM based. So that's the platform on which some of these other programs are built. A lot of variety to the undergraduate program that has just about doubled enrollment over the past 2 years. And so we're at over 350 undergraduate students at this point, and it's an exciting new program. So that's the broader context for the school. The LIS program is and has been and continues to be our flagship program, and in many ways the real heart of the School of Information. So it's I'm terrifically honored and incredibly delighted to have the opportunity to review the state of the program, and I'll turn it back over to Natalie to do just that.
Thank you so much, Dr. Borum. And I'm so glad you touched on all of the other things going on in the School of Information, because I think what's so exciting is we're finding some really interesting links between what we're doing in LIS and between all of these other areas that we're growing in the school. We also have a very quickly growing data science focus that has started at the undergrad level, but we've been talking to our faculty who are teaching that about how we can connect that with what our LIS students are doing. And so I think while retaining our core of what LIS is, we're looking to see how the field itself is changing and expanding in technical means and in how you can be a library in all different types of environments. So, I think we're very well situated within the School of Information, and I can think I can speak for most of our faculty that we feel very supported by Dr. Borum and his leadership. So thank you for that update. All right. Now the exciting part. So we wanted to tie this in because we think that giving these awards is an honor, first of all, but also just really speaks to the incredible things that our alumni are doing and our students are doing out in the world, in the professional workforce. And really, the people that I'm about to talk about make us look very, very good. And like I said, it's an honor to be able to have them join us. They're all here tonight. Normally we would have them come up and we would give them the award and it would be a whole thing. Since we're virtual, can't really do that. So I guess I'll just have them sort of wave when I'm talking when I'm talking about them. And they will be getting physical awards in the mail at some point within the next few weeks. Not quite the same, but and we'll go with it in the spirit that it's intended. But in the meantime, I'm just very excited to have them with us tonight and excited to be able to demonstrate. These are just three of the examples of the really, great things that our students are doing, former students and current students alike. So I'm going to go ahead. I have my notes pulled up on all of these individuals. I want to first start off talking about the award itself. So this first award that we're going to give is the Jean Key Gates Distinguished Alumni Award. And it was named in honor of a USF professor emerita of the same name. She wrote respective librarianship texts such as The Guide to the Use of Libraries, Information Science, and Introduction to Librarianship. The award is presented annually to alumni, and it's to those who have outstanding professional career achievements, which once you hear about all these things these folks have done, I think you'll agree that they definitely deserve it. The award has been around since 1993, and we've been presenting it ever since. So long tradition there. So I'll go ahead and start. You can see we had 3 honorees this year. These folks were nominated by faculty, and we all agreed that we needed to give 3 because all these 3 nominees definitely all deserve it. So our first awardee is Vin Basco. He is the engineering and computer science librarian at the University of Central Florida. He has a Bachelor of Science degree in Industrial Engineering, an MBA, and a Master's in Library Science. So not an overachiever at all. He was just recently promoted from associate to full librarian this year after working for the University of Central Florida Libraries for over 2 decades. He has held many titles and responsibilities. In addition to being a subject librarian, he also coordinates the library's research consultation services and Ask a Librarian service. And I love this part of the bio. 2 of the services that the library provides that have made a tremendous impact to the type of services offered during the pandemic, and that is so true. His interest in many years of involvement with international aspects of libraries through ALA's International Relations Committee and roundtable committees made him aware of the various opportunities to meet and network with a lot of librarians here and in Asia. He was also the past president and executive director of the Asian Pacific American Libraries Association for 7 years, the 2019 recipient of the Excellence in Librarianship Award at UCF, and the Joint Conference of Librarians of Color Distinguished Service Award recipient. So congratulations. I don't know if we want to do like a little virtual clap. There you go.
Thank you. All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you again for joining us. All right, so our second award winner is Phyllis Gorshey. She has worked in libraries since 1997. Upon graduating from Loyola University New Orleans with a bachelor's degree in English literature and a minor in religious studies, she did postgraduate studies in Trinity College, Dublin, Ireland. She started her master's degree at USF, and while in graduate school, she worked as a graduate assistant at the USF Library, then the Safety Harbor Public Library and Dunedin Public Library. After graduation, she worked as a law librarian until returning to the Dunedin Library, and her time has included work as a reference librarian, youth librarian, and now library director for the past 10 years. Plus, this year, she is also the Florida Library Association president. So thank you for that service. I know that's a very big job. Congratulations. All right. Oh, I love the virtual clapping. That's cute. Cursor claps. All right. And then our last awardee for this particular award is Natalie Taylor. She is the Director of Special Collections at the USF Libraries. A 2002 graduate of the USF School of Information's Master of Arts in Library and Information Science, she joined USF Libraries in 2003 as the inaugural Dr. Henrietta M. Smith Resident Librarian. And if those of you who have been around a while know that name, it's because she was a very beloved professor here in the USF School of Information for a very long time. After completing her term of residency, Tamara was appointed to a faculty position as a special collections librarian. She was a certified archivist for more than 15. She's been a certified archivist for more than 15 years and has actively served the professional archives community as president of the Society of Florida Archivists, the president of the Academy of Certified Archivists, the Academy's Regent for Exam Development, and the Society of American Archivists DAS Exam Lead Co-Manager. In 2012, she received the Society of Florida Archivists Award of Excellence for outstanding contributions to the preservation of Florida's documentary heritage. So, thank you for joining us as well. Congratulations. All right. So yes, again, you can tell by their bios that they have made a tremendous mark, not only on the Florida library scene, but actually also on the national library scene as well. So thank you all for joining us. All right, my next award too is an honor. We have someone who's just starting her career, well, sort of, which I'll get to when I read her bio. She's already accomplished quite a bit. Aparna Ghosh is the 2021 recipient of the USF Master of Library and Information Sciences Outstanding Student Award. This award is presented annually to a student who has demonstrated outstanding academic and extracurricular achievements and someone who serves as a role model for all IS students. She is in her second semester, only her second semester, at the here at our LS program, but has spent many years working in libraries, and that's what I mean by saying that we're getting her after she's already accomplished quite a bit. She started as an undergraduate at Denison University in Granville, Ohio, where she received her BA degree in sociology and anthropology. Since then, she's worked in libraries at Loyola University Chicago and Cornell in Ithaca, New York. And is a 2020-2021 ALA Spectrum Scholar, as well as being a 2021-2023 ARL Kaleidoscope Diversity Scholar. She's interested in digital librarianship, metadata, and assessment. And I'm thrilled to also say that she's going to be joining us as a graduate assistant in January, working with us on a variety of assessment things about the program to start off with. So we're very lucky that we're going to get to work with her and enjoy her expertise and experience as well. So congratulations, Aparna.
So much.
Yes, thank you. Okay. So with that said, I guess now this is where we sort of return to the program. And I wanted to start with the awards because I think it speaks to the point of why we're doing all of what we're doing, and hopefully gives some indication that what we're doing is successful, that we're having these amazing graduates and students. I've put on here the mission and the core values of the School of Information because that is our home. We are situated very securely, I guess, in the School of Information, and do align with those values. And you'll see that the LIS faculty, we've contributed to shaping this mission and the values, and I think the principles of librarianship are kind of all over this stuff. The idea that we're interested in impacting how people interact with information and technology, and how we can empower people in lots of different contexts at micro and macro levels. Things like intellectual freedom, literacy, information access are hugely important to our school. We want to make sure that we have accessible education programs to prepare leaders in the discipline. We want to always strive to bridge the gap between research and practice, and that we create meaningful collaborations with community partners. And that's something that it's helped by the fact that our graduates go out into the field and become leaders within these community partnerships and professional organizations, and we can continue our relationship with them. Excuse me. So I want to talk a little bit about the assessment and evaluation that we go into making sure that we actually are achieving making sure that we're achieving these goals. As you know, we've been accredited with the American Library Association for a very long time. And as part of that, there is a rigorous effort that goes into making sure that we maintain that accreditation and that we maintain our high standards. Part of that is preparing a biennial report every 2 years in the interim between the 7-year accreditation period that ALA has. So we prepared our most recent one in 2021. Which was approved with just a minor clarification. So that was a good sign. As part of preparing that report and as part of our normal and general assessments cycle, we do a variety of different surveys. And I would be remiss not to give a shout out to Denise Sheriff. She's one of our wonderful instructors and just an amazing advocate for all of this assessment. She does so much of this organization and keeping us on track. I don't know if Denise is with us. Is she here tonight?
I'm here.
You're here. Hi, Denise.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you. And so as part of what she does and part of we help her with is putting these surveys out for new students, students as they are in their mid-program. We do exit surveys with graduating students. And then every year we send out alumni surveys and employer surveys. And you can see here, just as an example, I believe this is on our website. You can get access to all of this data. But I just wanted to pull out a couple of the positive indicators from the 2020 exit survey. We had a response rate of 69%, which is pretty good on anybody who's ever tried to deploy a survey. And we got 97% of respondents who indicated that they would recommend the program to a friend. Almost all survey respondents, more than 95%, rated their skills in critical areas as satisfactory or exemplary. And that includes things like general understanding of librarianship, knowledge of current tech, leadership skills, and things of that nature. So we were particularly proud of those 2 data points. We also have continued systematic planning, and those of you who are our current students are probably going, oh, why are we doing this? But these e-portfolios are really essential to making sure that we're checking that our students are getting what we want them to get out of the program. And what we did was a few years ago replaced the comps, the exams that a lot of you might have taken if you graduated from our program several years ago. We've replaced those with an e-portfolio platform. And that's an iterative process that goes on. It's supposed to go on throughout our students' entire time in our program. They start at the very beginning in our introductory course, getting a kind of crash course in what they're supposed to be developing over their time in the program. We have a mid-program workshop where we work with them on choosing a platform and making sure that they're comfortable choosing different artifacts throughout the program to include in the e-portfolio. And then by the time they get to the end, we have them present a really comprehensive online document that demonstrates the work that they've completed throughout their time here. They're required to include an artifact from each of their core courses, and also connect this in a narrative form with the program level learning outcomes that we have. And I'll talk a little bit more about those in a minute. So it's just a really excellent check for us to know, okay, this is, our students are making the connections between why they're doing all of this work and all of these assignments. But it's also a really wonderful reflective and metacognitive exercise for students to understand and reflect on their time in the program as well. We also have a fabulous advisory council who has, this is a group of about 15 people, 15 professionals in our field who advise us on making sure that we're doing this systematic planning and making sure that we are changing our goals and adapting our curriculum and doing all of that sort of thing to reflect how the field itself is changing. And they do a really good job connecting us and making sure that we're really keyed into the professional field. You can see here that just the general mission. Some of the specific goals we had for this year were to look at the core curriculum, to get some feedback on our communication efforts, and to increase our focus on mentoring and connecting students with professionals in the field. And I'm not going to read their bios because I think we would be here for the full hour. This is, again, a very accomplished group of people, mostly, if not all, graduates of our program. And I would also be remiss in saying several of these people have received the Gene Key Gates Award in the past. So, congratulations again to all of them, and we really appreciate their continued service and support of our school. We've been meeting with them. We scheduled it for twice a year, but they were so excited about giving us advice that this year alone, I think we've already met 4 or 5 times. So we've just been getting a really wonderful response from this group of people and are very appreciative of their service. The curriculum, I mentioned before that we have these program level learning outcomes. I am sorry that this is such tiny, tiny font. I thought I was going to be able to actually expand it, but it appears in the wonderful technology platform that is Teams that's not going to let me like it does in PowerPoint. That's fine. This is on our website, and it's really just more to give you an overview that we have these 4 areas: leadership, systems and services, knowledge, representation, and theory and values. Oh, good. My eyesight is still fairly good. And those 4 areas are what we have students connect their portfolio outcomes to, make sure that they understand where their artifacts fit into this. And then all of our classes, we try to map to these different objective areas and larger program level learning outcomes. So again, just part of the kind of big picture look at what we're trying to do as a program. A few updates on the curriculum. Some of you may remember, if you graduated several years ago, we used to have several certificates that we allowed people to add on to their degree. We actually decided a couple of years ago to eliminate those. And there were a couple of reasons for that. One is that the way that it worked at USF is that the certificate program itself was run from an external department. So Innovative Education kind of oversaw the granting of the certificates. And so anytime we wanted to change any kind of required course that was on the list of the certificates or anything like that, it was sort of an extensive paperwork process to working with them to get that ironed out, and just made it to where we felt like we could not be as nimble, I guess, with our course offerings and things of that nature as we felt we needed to be in a dynamic program in a changing field and that sort of thing. We also just found that there wasn't a whole lot of interest in the certificate program. A lot of people, I think, felt like the degree itself was enough. And our program, our degree itself is pretty flexible in terms of how you get to choose your electives and how you get to choose your focus. So we just felt like it just seemed like there wasn't a strong need for it. What we've done instead is we've actually created a more robust advising program where we have different tracks suggested of different electives for different types of librarianship. So if you're interested in going into school libraries, we have a selection of the electives that we offer on a regular basis that you might want to, we kind of guide you toward that. They're not required, but it gives a good, I guess, assist to our advising platform and advising program. And that's also something that our advisory council has been really helpful with, reviewing those different tracks and making sure that we're actually selecting the right classes for the various types of librarianship. In addition, we've actually added several new electives, and this is what I mean by, keeping the program nimble. We had World Libraries, which was offered in spring 2021, graphic novels, which was offered in spring 2021, or I'm sorry, summer 2021. And then we're teaching data analytics and data programming right now, which was actually a class that was developed in response to some of the feedback that we were getting on exit and mid-program surveys, that students wanted a technology course that was kind of a bridge between the introductory class that we already had and some of the more advanced level courses that were offered in maybe other programs throughout the School of Information, some of the more, coding and programming heavy classes. So, it's been successful, I think, so far. This is the first semester we're offering it, so we'll have to wait and see what the feedback is on it. But one of our faculty members, Hong, stepped up and took this class on, and so we're hoping that it works out and becomes a really helpful addition to our technical offerings. We also went through the process, which if anybody's in academia and has ever had to work with the whole getting a course permanently entered into the state database, it's a process, but we did do a lot of shifting from some of our temporary courses. We got them permanent course numbers, so that was like things like cultural heritage institutions and teaching information literacy, and we're still in the process of doing that for some of our other temporary classes, which just, again, it helps with advising. It helps students have something more permanent on their degree and their record, and it helps students kind of just get a better idea and understanding of the different classes. When they all have the same number, it can get very confusing. So as far as LIS faculty goes, Randy alluded to this a little bit. We've had some turnover and some changes. Two of us have actually gotten tenure and promotion. Dr. Alon Friedman, and I actually just was promoted to associate professor. Thank you for those claps. I really like those. I've never seen that on Teams before, but we also had a couple of instructor promotions as well. Dr. Richard Austin and Kirsty Cox were both promoted. We did have one retirement that Rainey mentioned, Dr. Vicki Gregory. She is still with us as a professor emerita, and just very well-earned retirement. She'd been an integral part of the department and even a former director of our school. So, we were very sad to see her go, but it was well-deserved that she got to retire. And then we had one resignation, Dr. Jungwon Yoon. I don't know if any of you had her, but I mean, she was a wonderful faculty colleague and teacher, and moved largely for geographic reasons to a different university, but we do miss her quite a bit. That said, we are now in the process of hiring, which is good because we have continually increasing enrollment, and we're still missing these two faculty members. So we're anxious to get that process wrapped up and on the way. Randy also mentioned we've had an increase in external funding proposals, which is always a good thing. The university likes to see that. And then we have, our faculty is really involved in the professional field and in the community, and that's through serving as non-voting members on the FLA executive board. We have people who are very involved in Reforma at both the Florida chapter. One of our adjuncts is actually the current president. I don't know if Alicia is here tonight, but we also have several of our instructors and faculty members who are active members of the Florida chapter. And then I know many are attending, for example, Reforma, the national conference, which is going on right now. So if anyone is here who's also involved in that, you get extra points for being here tonight, because I know that you're very busy with that. We have JCLC. We have a lot of people who are on different planning committees for the Joint Conference of Librarians of Color. That's actually going to be in St. Pete in 2022, so next year. And we have several of our instructors and faculty members who are working on various aspects of that conference. We have people who attend ALIS regularly, who are, in chairs of various SIGs in that. And I know I'm leaving out a lot, but those are just some of the representative examples that we believe pretty strongly that we need to be engaged in the field and make sure that we're actually talking to people who are in libraries, because otherwise, how are we going to teach effectively? So that's something that's very important to us as a department. And with that said, I'm going to segue and give you guys a break from listening to me, and let Peter come on. And he's going to talk a little bit about some of the outreach that we've done from a marketing and communication standpoint. So, Peter, are you around?
Yep, right here.
There you are.
All right. Hello, everyone. I see so many friends, colleagues, and friends I haven't met yet. Good showing here. If you don't know me, I'm Peter Cannon. I'm a graduate of the program, so I have an MLIS, and I also have a PhD from USF in rhetoric, which is kind of communication adjacent. So this is my bailiwick. This is the kind of stuff that I like to do. Just generally, the goals of the marketing and communication officer, which is me, is to make sure that we increase the school's visibility in the community and engage with community partners. That's something that we've really been focusing on past year and a half. I think is making sure we get out there. It's been difficult, as you know, because of the pandemic. Also, increase our outreach efforts and create and maintain a website that serves as our primary information portal. If you know anything about large institutions and websites, they love to change, and so that's been a little bit of an effort on my part, is to make sure that we keep our website up to date, so you have information about not only our LIS program, but about the other programs that we have at school information. A lot of that Randy talked about earlier. We want to make sure that we also coordinate the communication between programs, which is a little more difficult than you would think, because there's so many different moving parts in each program, to make sure that we are consistent in our communication as a unified school. And then lastly, continue with our branding program. We have to make sure that our branding and our outreach is consistent with the vision and values of the university as a whole. So those are the goals of the marketing and communication officer and our plan. So I want to move on to some of the things that we've been doing this year. Again, it's been difficult because of the pandemic. I'm used to, if you remember me, I'm used to just jumping in the car and just going to a bunch of different annual conferences, or even to your library to talk about the benefits of having an MLIS program. But moving online has been a little more difficult, but we've been able to do a lot of community outreach to our partners and various organizations. So, for example, we sponsored or helped sponsor the National Conference of African American Librarians back in July, and that was a wonderful event. I was also able to participate in that and watch, and some of the stuff was really interesting. There's a lot of new stuff going on that's consistent with what we see in public libraries about graphic novels and therapeutic reading and so forth. We also have a long-standing outreach relationship with the Hillsborough County Public Schools, especially with the media specialist program. So we were able to, that was our first back to face-to-face meeting, and it was wonderful being able to see all these people, not see them on a little screen, but be able to talk to them and wave. We're all socially distant, and we were in a large gym at the time, but that was wonderful, and that was at their vendor expo. And then next month, we went to the TBLC VIP program. If anyone's been to that, that's a wonderful program for non-professional librarians, but really it's for folks who are building their library skill set. And so we talked to them about the benefits of getting an MLIS. If not now, then in the future, especially in a market like this. Reforma, which is going on now, we're a sponsor of that, and I do see Elisa. She's right there. Gosh, I don't know how she's doing everything at once. It's wonderful. We're proud to go ahead and sponsor that, and we are sponsoring FAME. Help sponsor that, which is December 1st, December 3rd. Shout out for that. And we have one of the board members, Diane Austin is here also, so I believe she'll be traveling there. So if you are going to FAME, make sure you look for her. She was one of my mentors when I was in the program. 2022, hopefully we'll get back to more in-person, face-to-face conferences. So we're looking hopefully to do a little FISHLA, Florida Library Association annual conference. That's going to be more difficult because it's further away, but we will be sponsoring that. And biggest thing coming up, I think, will be participating is the Joint Council of Librarians of Color, which will be October 5th to October 9th, 2022. It's at the Tradewinds Island Grand Resort in St. Petersburg. It's a wonderful place. If you want to go and tell everyone that it's somewhat warm. If you have any friends up north, you can go ahead and visit that and participate. I'm not sure if they're still looking for volunteers, but I believe so. I don't think anyone turns volunteers away. So that's it for our outreach and sponsorships that we have done and have coming up in the near future. And then finally, is we're implementing a new revised marketing communication plan for 2021 and 2022. One of the things that we have coming out, so if you watch our social media, some of our posts that we have is for this platform called What's Going On. And we're really interested in what you're doing out there. And the idea, let me just go ahead and get my notes here because I remembered everything right. So the idea is we want to be able to collect and collate and analyze all this information, basically so we can, if you're an alum of this program or if you're working with us, we want to be able to brag about you and say, hey, this is the reason why we're doing so well as a program. So you can find more information about this, what's going on, information collector. If you go to our website, which is si.usf.edu, it's very easy to type in. You don't even need the www. We got rid of that, so you don't have to worry about that. So it's about an extra second and a half that you'll save, and you can do something else. And then finally, just want to say that we're expanding our presence on social media. If you follow us on Twitter, if you follow us on Facebook, you know that we're active there. I think we just had Miami-Dade Libraries follow us today. Thank you very much. If you're from there, I want to say thank you. And we're not underwater. We have more followers than we're following, but I don't mind following people. So follow us, we'll follow back. We'll try that. But we're also expanding our presence on LinkedIn. Instagram's coming up. If you like the gram, we'll be posting more on that. And we do a lot of our press releases or announcements about sort of like the teaching part, the pedagogy part of our program through Jesse, which is a listserv that's sponsored by Wayne State University. So there's lots of ways to get information about the program, or you can just email me, Peter Cannon, CANNON @usf.edu. Next slide. It's an old trick. I'm done.
All right, thank you, Peter. And I should say, all of the social media accounts and all of that stuff, if you want to follow us, I know at the very least, Facebook and Twitter are on our website. I think the other two are as well. But as Peter indicated, our contact information is all on those websites, and we love talking to people. So if you ever have any questions about the program, can't find something that you're looking for, or things like that, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, to Peter. I mean, really, almost all of us are really good at forwarding it on if you get the wrong person. So please don't hesitate to do that. All right, so I do want to briefly talk about our student profile, and then we will get to the very exciting part where we actually get to hear from one of our wonderful student leaders. This is, again, tiny font. Sorry about that, everyone. So this is basically what I wanted to put up with some of the statistics from that we've pulled over the past couple of years in terms of gender, sex breakdown, male, female breakdown in terms of the students that we have in our program. We have here the number of applications accepted, enrolled, and things of that nature. I think basically what these numbers do is just show you that it's been pretty consistent. I can tell you that I think over the last few semesters, it's creeping up, which is good in terms of the number of people who are applying and then enrolling in the program. But at the very least, we've been maintaining consistency over kind of a rocky, weird time in the world. So we're proud of that. And I think that speaks to the fact that people, I know the general populace loves to say that libraries are, going away or whatever, but I think it shows that that's not at all the case. That's not been the case in terms of our students getting jobs, and it's not at all been the case in the important work that libraries have been doing over the past couple of years. So we're excited that that's being demonstrated in the fact that people are still seeking out the program and seeing the value of the degree. I also want to mention, this is our breakdown of race and ethnicity, and this is one of those things that I would say we're not particularly proud of. I did put a little bit of context here from the 2020 ELISE statistical report that, this is something that the field is struggling with at the moment and has been for quite some time, that we are predominantly female by a large margin, and we are predominantly white by a large margin. And that's something that, again, it's not just it's a field problem, it's a profession problem, but it's something that we are very concerned about as a department issue. And that, if we can't change the field itself, then we at least would like to try to do things as a department to make some inroads and to try to increase the diversity of our student profile. So that, when I get to initiatives and future things and plans that we're working on, that is something that is a major goal for us. And, I can speak that we have a really strong historical, a lot of the people, the professors, faculty, staff who've been in our program a very long time have had a very strong commitment to these sorts of issues for a very long time. And I don't want to dismiss that or diminish that in any way. It's something that we want to continue and, again, grow from what we're doing. So I want to be honest, these are our numbers, but that is one of our goals that we would like to diversify our student body. That said, the other important point here is retention and time to degree. You might notice here that the retention rate, which is basically the students who stay in the program on a semester to semester basis, it was a little lower in 2019, 2020. I can't imagine what happened in the world during 2019, 2020 that might be a cause for that. But we think that was COVID. We think, I know many of you are our current students, and many of you have children, or you have other jobs that were very stressful during this period, or, a variety of other just life issues that got in the way because of the pandemic. It's a number we're watching. It's a number that we're going to be really curious to see what 2020, 2021 looks like, and we'll be comparing it to that. But we've done a pretty careful analysis of like the mid-program surveys, the exit surveys, and things like that. And we don't see any glaring issues that would be other than just the state of the world during that year. So I wanted to mention it because people seem to notice that number, as they should. But we think that it was because of larger issues in the world. A couple of the other things we're working on with students, we have a really wonderful staff member, Alexis. I think she's here, just waving and observing. But she has done a really fabulous job increasing actually continuing, as we had David Chappell is another one of our wonderful staff members, and he was in that role before. They both started and have continued a really strong effort to maintain communication with our students. They are on email all the time and get emails back, have the patience of saints at times, and just with me, I should say, and other faculty members. But they're, like I said before, we have a really, you already met Peter, but we have a really strong support staff and could not do the work we do without them. So Alexis did a huge project over the summer where she completely redesigned our LIS Canvas site for our students, and it's much more intuitive now, where they walk through advising. It's kind of a timeline of when you start, this is what you need, and this is the information you need when you're mid-program, and this is the information you need when you're graduating and when you're going into the fields. And we've had some really positive feedback from that so far. We've also, with the crunch of faculty members, had to put in place some registration stop gaps just to ensure that students are getting into the classes that they need in time to graduate. And so Alexis is overseeing that as well. And so, yeah, just major props to them. And then we have really strong student groups, which I see that I have talked a long time and I'm going over, and I want to make sure, I don't know that we're going to have time for questions. I hope we do. But I want to make sure that we have time for our representative from our student group, SOLIS, which is student organizations of LAS, ALA, and SLA representatives. So I'm going to turn it over to Maria.
Hi, everyone. I am so happy to be here and talk about SOLIS. I like talking a lot anyway, and SOLIS is one of the top things that I like talking about. So thank you for having me. I see a lot of faces or names in the crowd that I'm familiar with. My name is Maria. Again, I'm the Secretary of SOLIS. I wanted to talk a little bit today about what SOLIS has been doing and why students should join, and ways for alumni to get involved if they want. So anyways, I'll just go ahead and get started. So first slide is, what is SOLIS anyway, and why should I join? SOLIS, and because we're in the library world and everything is an acronym, stands for Student Organizations of Library and Information Science at USF. You might then ask, what student organizations are those that it would be a joint thing? It's the ALA and the SLA that we are representing on the USF campus, also virtually because the program is an online program. Then the question that a lot of students particularly have is, do you need to be an ALA or SLA member to join SOLIS? Meaning, do you have to have like a paid membership of either of those organizations? And the answer is no, but we do strongly encourage it for reasons I'll go into a little bit later. Does SOLIS have any membership fees? No, we do not. And then back to my main question, which is, why should I join? So SOLIS seeks to connect students with one another, with staff and professional organizations, as well as explore different perspectives in the library and information science field. Our hope as SOLIS officers is to create a stronger and more unified MLIS student body at USF, with more opportunities to learn and grow together. Given that the USF MLIS program is virtual, we use a combination of Microsoft Teams, meetings, email, social media, and our own school Canvas website in order to get the word out about SOLIS. Where you can find SOLIS, so we try to market in a lot of different platforms just to get our message out there. Canvas, obviously, we have a Facebook, we have a Twitter, we are now recently on Bulls Connect. We also have an email. It is CAS, meaning College of Arts and Sciences, _solis@usf.edu. And eventually, we will have a website, and we are really excited about that. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. Moving right along. SOLIS is run for students by students. I already introduced myself. I'm the Secretary of SOLIS. We also have our president here. Leslie Walble is in the crowd. Also, we have the vice president is John Clark. The webmaster is Greg Foster. And then our archivist is Christine Monge. So we have a team of 5 students who are really passionate about coming together and creating really cool programming, which I'll talk about in the next slide. But our team is just so willing to do whatever we need to do to make cool events and connect with students and staff and just other professionals in the field. So I really couldn't ask for a better team for SOLIS. So yeah, thank you, Leslie, for being here. Moving right along. What kind of events does SOLIS host or plan to host? So our focus has been based on a survey that we put out earlier this year. In that survey, we asked students what kind of programming they would like to see. So you can see on this slide, there's a bunch of different things that we have either planned already or we're hoping to plan. But it's not just limited to this. We are open to whatever our students want. So everything that we plan or hope to plan is informed by what the student body is interested in and would benefit from. But these are just a smattering of options. Moving right along. So you might be asking yourself, if you're part of the alumni group, if there are any opportunities for you to get involved in SOLIS. And the answer is absolutely. We would love to get involved with as many interested professionals in the field as we can. So if you have any ideas, some of ours include like panel discussions, as is said in the slide, or just mentorship, or just to talk about your own experience in the field. So for that reason, if you have any ideas or you really want to get involved with SOLIS, please email us because we would love to work with you. And when is SOLIS's next meeting? So our next meeting is November 30th. The time is to be determined, but it's a really exciting one because we will be having some USF MLIS students who have won scholarships already. So we are hoping to connect 2 or 3 members of the student body with our other SOLIS members and have them present about their experience working on getting scholarships and share any advice that they can with everyone. So we are very excited for that. Moving right along. Great. So how do I join SOLIS? All you have to do to join SOLIS is email us. And again, there's our email. It's very easy. We are very open and willing to accept anyone who wants to join. And I really can't stress enough that we want to be an organization that is for the student body at USF. ALA and SLA membership, FLA membership is a big part of that. We really do hope that students will want to join those bigger organizations if they haven't already by the time they join a SOLIS meeting. And if that's not the case, then we want, after they join a SOLIS meeting and they see the benefits of joining these professional development organizations, either national or a little bit more local, that they will take advantage of that opportunity and do so. As we all can probably attest to just being here, how you're gonna get most out of the program is by your connections with others, communicating with people, sharing new ideas of what you're doing or what they're doing or what's just going on in the field is what's going to really enrich everyone's education and time as a student at USF. And I know I believe that, and so does my team at SOLIS. So that's the end of my presentation. Are there any questions that I could answer? I know we only have about 3 minutes, so you can email me those questions at, again, cas-solis@usf.edu. And thank you so much for allowing me to present today.
Thank you so much, Maria. Do you mind giving me back over? I don't know, can you give me control? Do we lose us? Uh-oh. Well, you know what? Since we're running out of time anyway, I think that's okay. We were on the last 2 slides. A couple of things I wanted to point out. Vanessa, if you want to give a wave, she is our wonderful advisor, faculty advisor, and she's done a tremendous job helping these wonderful students as well through some complicated institutional issues and things like that, and just remaining her enthusiasm and getting students involved. So thank you so much for all your work, Vanessa. The other thing is I notice every year that FLA, hopefully, thank you, Phyllis, sends out a newsletter that invites or acknowledges new members. And we have had consistently several of our students join as new members. And I think a lot of that speaks to the work that our student group is doing in promoting how important these professional organizations are. So thank you to both the professional organization and to our local student body. All right, so like I said, we are running out of time. If everyone, I understand if you have to drop out right at 8, if you can give us 10 more minutes, I will wrap up my last slide and then we'll open it up for just a few questions. Because our slideshow disappeared, I'm just going to go ahead and just say this because basically it's just wrapping up talking about future plans and initiatives. One thing is that we are moving from a yearly to a monthly newsletter coming out with communication. So that will be an exciting new way for you to hear about what's going on with what we're doing. We are working with our advisory council to increase alumni outreach. So if you have any grand ideas for how we can get some of you involved who are our alumni, things that we could be helping you do. Our alumni group has been understandably dampened by the COVID stuff. We haven't obviously been able to do in-person events or anything like that. But we are interested, if you want to reach out to us and be a more active member of that, then we're happy to help you with it. We are currently a long-term goal is reviewing core courses, making sure that those are still maintaining the focus that they need for the professional field. As I mentioned with diversity, that is a continuing goal and focus of what we're doing. The School of Information has a dedicated diversity committee. And, we've recently started a Canvas site that is helping us share internal resources and making sure that we're keeping track of what we're all doing as faculty members to make sure that we're walking the walk and not just talking the talk. We've done, as Peter mentioned, a number of outreach to the professional organizations like Reforma and Bacala, and we think that's our duty, but also a really a good way to get our students involved in those organizations and to feel a sense of belonging and responsibility for either being allies or being a part of those professional organizations. And like I said, just trying different ways of increasing the diversity profile of our admitted students. A couple of the things that we're trying to do is recruiting in institutions that might have larger portions of underserved populations, and then also trying to figure out a way to increase our monetary support of students, because I know that that's a huge roadblock for many students. I mean, not just not just as an issue of diversity, but also just as an issue of paying for grad school is hard for a lot of people. So we want to make sure that we're offering that support in any way that we can. We have been, as Randy indicated, kind of under our own budget crunch, but that's something, we're continually thinking about the value, making sure that we're giving value to students. So that's one of our main focuses as well. Coming up, we have our 50th anniversary in 2023, 2024, and we're hoping to have a number of major events coming out around that. So please stay tuned. And that's the 50th anniversary of our accreditation, which hopefully we have our next accreditation review in spring 2024. So that will also be a good opportunity for us to wrap up and talk about the last kind of decade of what we've been doing. So all that said, I'm going to stop talking now and open it up. Like I said, I know we don't have a ton of time, but I would love to answer any questions or comments or feedback if anyone has them. If you want to raise your hand or if you want to throw it into the chat box. We'll try to cap it at 10 minutes just because I don't want to go over too much. But if you have any other feedback or comments and don't have a chance to say something, please feel free to reach out to me and I will try to be, and get back to you quickly. So thank you all for coming if you can't stay, and we really appreciate your time and your support of our program and for being involved in our community. We couldn't do it without you. Thank you. And as I'm giving people time to type in the chat box or raise their hand or think of questions if they have them, I also wanted to mention it is our homecoming week at USF. So happy homecoming. Kathleen, thank you for throwing that in the chat box earlier. Go Bulls. Hey, Alicia, go ahead. Oh, you're muted. Can we unmute you?
Oh, there. I was unmuting and you were muting me back and forth.
Oops.
In my chat says the chat is muted. I can't type, so I don't know why. So I'm gonna say it. I just wanted to congratulate all the honorees today, the alumni that are here. Congratulations to all three of you and to the student. So I just wanted to add my congratulations and thank you, Natalie, and everybody who put this together. This was very informative.
Thank you. And thanks for letting us know about the chat box. I think it might have been unmuted now. Sorry about that, everyone. You would think after a year of dealing with Teams, I would actually know how to use it by now. I guess that's not the case.
This is Phyllis. I just wanted to say thank you, and thank you for promoting FLA. There is a really great student membership, so I'm going to reach out to SOLIS and encourage you all, because we have a great FLA, ALA student membership, and when you're joining professional organizations, finding some cost savings is very important. And I also wanted to say a thank you to Dr. McCook. I'm really proud to be a USF alumni, and she was such a force during my graduate career. I think I took every one of her courses, and we have a strong public library that I'm at, and I'm proud to promote all the things that I learned in graduate school at my library, and to pay it forward and encourage more people. So it's great to see the students on here, and just very excited for the program, and very interesting to hear no more comps. So thank you for sharing that update.
This is Kathleen. Phyllis, there was a wonderful TBLC presentation you did, and I've been starting class with that, and maybe when they had their budget crunch, they took it down. Can you make them put it back?
Oh gosh, I think I told them to take it down. No, no, I'm kidding.
I mean, it really did. And now that you're FLA president, it's even more exciting. But I went to get the class ready and saw it was gone. So now I've got you on the spot. Maybe they'll put it back.
Yeah, all right. It's one of my most famous pieces. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you for that and all the work you're doing, Phyllis. I know this has been a tough year for FLA, just in terms of, I know there's been some turnover and there's been all that kind of stuff. And I can, from my view from the cheap seats, I have the easy job. I just sit and watch all the work you guys are doing, but it is a lot of work, and we appreciate it.
I feel your pain, Phyllis. I feel your pain.
I'd like to second, thanking Dr. McCook also, because when I took the program, she was the one who actually came to Orlando. I mean, she drove from Tampa to Orlando. I mean, the 2 or 3 classes that I took under her, it was more. I think it was painful for her to drive on I-4 going back at night. And so it was really, it really helped a lot of people in Orlando to be part of the program. And so I commend her for doing that. And at that time, she was also the director of the program, and my mentor at the same time. So thank you, Dr. Marco.
She continues to be a fierce advocate for junior faculty and students, and I wish I had her energy. So I think it's really wonderful you guys are all chiming in. Barbara, did I see your hand raised earlier? I think I couldn't tell if it was you were just like waving or if you were like trying to get my attention.
No, I was probably just doing a thumbs up, but I do appreciate all your remarks tonight, and catching us up on all the good things that the program is doing, and all the good and I appreciate all the good work that you're doing. And talk about mentors. There are a number of people on the screen tonight that have been like mentors to me for some of you longer than others. I won't mention how many years, Dr. McCook, but we go back a ways. And Natalie, I certainly appreciate all the help that you've given me as a returning adjunct faculty member. So good to know all about the new things with the program. And hello to everybody that I haven't seen in a long time. Alicia and Maria, it's nice to see you on here tonight, and Phyllis. Yeah.
Oh, thank you for that, Barbara. That was thank you. Sorry, I was getting distracted by shiny object. We had a nice note from a student too about all the instructors. I don't talking about moving away from purchased textbooks, which I made me think of you because I know you've been doing that in your course. Barbara has been making the move in the library admin course that she's adjuncting to make the move to free and open access textbooks. So I didn't mean to interrupt you, but it's like, oh, we just have the right person talking because she's doing it. We have a good program here at USF that helps instructors do that. And I think that is a goal for all of us to make it more affordable to students. So we are so lucky to have such wonderful adjuncts.
Yep. Okay.
All right, so I am going to go ahead and wrap this up since we've already gone over. But if you do have any other questions or any other comments that you want to share with me or anybody else, who's spoken tonight, please feel free. Like I said, we can forward along your questions if you get to the wrong person. But thank you for all spending your Thursday night with us, and again for all that you do for the program, because it's all of us. It's not any one person at all. So thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, everyone.
Congratulations again to our award winners.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.